and see how we go. Bye, everybody. Happy Wednesday. We're here again to learn something about SEO. Okay. If you don't have a camera or a mic, that's fine. You're in the meeting. You feel free to use chat. And if you want to hide your question, I won't call out your name, but you can send it directly to me instead of sending it to everybody. That way you won't feel funny about asking a question. Anyway, I've been developing websites since 1996, if you can believe that. I'm sure a lot of you are going, excuse me, what? That's when I first started developing them. When I got into SEO in 2000, and things have kind of taken off since then. And Arthur is here as a co-host. He's not on his mic yet. He's probably busy with a customer. He's been doing this for 18, 20 years. He's a whiz at WordPress and Elementor. So if anybody's having questions on something going on with their WordPress or something going on with Elementor, get in contact with him. I am big on Joomla, but I've developed hundreds of sites in WordPress, mostly many years ago, but I still develop them. Joomla, in case anybody is listening to the fact that a lot of people just go, I don't know what that is, so never mind. I prefer Joomla. For me, it gives me more space to be able to do things in the back end in admin. And it comes out of the box at 100% performance. So it's only what you do inside of admin that slows down Joomla. And you'd have to load some pretty heavy stuff in order to get to slow down. So we're starting at the bottom. We're starting at the beginning. Last month, we slowly went through some points of SEO, and I'm going to continue with that. And part of that continuation was making sure that everybody understands if you've got a question that you don't want to ask to the group, just send it to me directly. But I know everybody has questions. It's a matter of trying to get them answered. So ask them anytime. Throw it in chat. Okay. So would it be correct to say that most everybody has not got a page in the top of the search engines? Anybody here who does have a page in the top of the search engines? Hand up or thumbs up or something in the chat. Robert does. So we're going to have him teach the class today. Of course, it could be for a keyword term that nobody searches. Guess what, folks? If you haven't done that, target a keyword that nobody searches or very few people search. Guess what? It's a good place to start. So if you haven't tried that, do it. Most people start out going, I've got a website, and now everybody in the world can find it. No, they can't. That's like building a house. Who outside of your neighborhood can see your house? Nobody. So don't expect anybody to find your website just because you built one. And for most people who are coming to these sessions, these meetings, it's because they don't have all the parts put together. And there is a procedure for putting the right parts together. You can't just build a website and expect that everybody is going to show up. So where do you start? Put the blinders on, first of all, and you've got to stop thinking that you're going to target the entire country or worldwide. You have to start small. What's the main thing that you think you're missing technically from SEO or your website in general? Anybody want to answer that? Put it in chat, send it to me. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Okay, crickets. I hear crickets back there. So you guys can't think of what you're missing because maybe it's because you're missing so much stuff. All right. Starting from scratch, you need something so that Google pays attention to you. And everybody is trying to work for Google. There's a lot of search engines out there, but they don't necessarily pick up, and they don't have the clout. They don't have the numbers that Google does. So everything is about Google. Not a matter of loving Google or not. It's just the is. So if you're trying to get into the top of the search engines, you need authority. The page that you're trying to get into the top of the search engines needs authority. Does everybody understand that much? Because it's just a little bit, but I want everybody to understand what that means. Mike, what does that mean to you? I see you're missing keywords that bring me into the year Google search. Okay, up in the year. Okay, not sure what that means, but okay,
Voice
go
to
ahead.
text. Your first question was would have to do with words that are very important to the business that I have.
Relevant, you mean?
Relevant, yes.
Yeah. And that's what everybody's trying to do, is have relevant keywords for whatever page on which they're working. And I know I've said this many times, but I really want people to understand. You work on one page at a time. Forget the other pages in your site. And I'm going to go out here on a limb and say, I would bet that most of you, if not all, other than some of the developers who are here, if I described your website as far as analytics being, your analytics have flatlined, would that be accurate? Just kind of, nobody's coming. Oops, we got one. Is that pretty much where you are? And I see SEO on my Shopify site is written like a paragraph about my business. Well, I'm not sure if I'm following all of that, but I think you're saying that it's just one paragraph thrown together, or it's just one paragraph on the page and that's it, which is not enough. Now, not too long back, we talked about how many words that you should have on the page. Don't concentrate on that specifically, but I can tell you that a paragraph or two paragraphs really isn't enough. And before we get into a lot of that stuff, one paragraph for this site, wow, okay, that isn't going to work. So you're going to need some outside things, or you're going to need to move into a independent website, which I highly recommend if you're really serious about doing your business. It's either that, or you do something, which we're going outside where I wanted to today, but you need to do some offsite SEO. And Google Business Profile is one of the best places to use. Google loves business. Every time that you use something of Google's to help your website, Google likes that. So do some offsite. I won't get into it any more than that. But generally speaking, everybody's got a website that has pretty much flatline. There's a couple of bumps every once in a while, but that's it. So stop worrying whether the pages and you have traffic. You're at a point where you need to be at square one. What do you do from square one? First of all, stop thinking about the fact that you're going to get traffic by doing one little tweak. It's not going to happen. maybe 2 tweaks, still not. There's a lot of work that goes into it. It is time consuming. And if you pay somebody to do it, it's expensive because of the time that's involved. But you're trying to learn so you can do it yourself. There's no magic pill. There is no speed that you're going to have something done very quickly. It's going to take time. And right now, you're saying that your website has flatlined, and I'm going to continue to say that until somebody says, no, I have a page that's in pretty good position. So if your website is flatlined, basically you're starting from scratch. Doesn't make any difference how long that website has been up. It doesn't have any authority. It doesn't have what people want. So if somebody comes to the page or pages of your website, are they truly understanding and getting whatever information is on the page? So starting over, you need to sit down and make a list. And the list is going to be under 3 categories. You have the 3 stages, and you can call them whatever you want about the 3 stages of the buyer's journey. Specifically, their awareness, consideration, and purchase. So awareness means, I'm thinking about this one item that I was going to buy, or wanted to get some information because I'm not sure if I want it or not. Let me see. That means, okay, you've got something in mind, but you haven't researched it to find out who's got the best thing, what the price is. You're just trying to find out information. So your pages in your website must reflect that. You've got to address the awareness stage. On another page, then you address the second step, so that you're trying to address the consideration. Consideration is, I have a pretty good idea about this product, and I'm kind of wavering between 1 or 2 manufacturers, or 1 or 2 companies, or 1 or 2, you get the idea. Is it this service that I need or that service? So you're going to take them to a different page that is describing more specifically what they were interested in the first place. Now, and then of course, the third stage is the buy stage. That's when they've got their credit card in hand and they're ready to go to a page that, okay, I see the stuff, I see that they've got the thing that I want, and I'm going to buy it. That still needs to have information so that the page can still come up in the search engines. Because if a person has got their credit card in hand and they're searching because they know exactly what they want to do, and you come up, great, they go to your site. But if you keep putting in combinations of all 3 in one page or every one of your pages, people come to those pages and they read, and within a minute, less than a minute, they realize, wait a minute, this is not what I want. You have to understand what their stage is of that buyer's journey. So separate 3 columns, and then you're going to write pages under each column for that. Do not combine the 3 stages. So awareness, they're just looking for information. So that page needs to have a bunch of information. Now, if you've got several services or several products, that means you get the 3 columns for each of those products or services, whatever it is. So that means you want to make sure that you're getting this down on paper, because you're not going to remember this stuff. If you just start throwing things in there, you'll end up right where you are. You've got a flatline site now, and it's still going to flatline. Slow down and understand this is a process. If you don't go through the process, if you try to jump to the head of the class, you try to jump in and say, it's just going to work, and push it in there, say, I'm done. It won't. In fact, doing that kind of work on a website page can get that page, instead of being on page 30, push it to 400. because it's not written right. If the page, let's take this a different way. If you decided that, you know what, it's too much work to do all this stuff, so I'm just going to do an AdWords campaign, and you started, or even I know somebody else who has done mailers, so I'm going to send out these mailers. Okay, that is generating traffic. Now, what page are they going to? Because they're not going to several pages. And I've said this a lot of times in almost every meeting. Stop thinking that it's your home page that people come to. The chances of you getting your home page into the top of the search engines for somebody to click on that as a result are slim and none. Your homepage usually has several different topics on it, so it can't rank for one in particular. The pages get to the top of the search engine because it's about one subject, it is written really well, and it has a specific stage of the buyer's journey. If you don't do all of those things, then you're wasting your time. You're still going to have a flatline site. So think about what you're having. Think about the categories. Think about the page that you're going to create. And you're going to start from scratch. Information about this one product, not several, just one. What's that product all about? And don't try to go off and try to sell somebody on that page. Somebody coming to that page for information, if they see something about sales, okay, now you're ready to buy, or you start these pop-ups, they leave. The last thing that you want to do with a flatline site is offend people and push them away. You're trying to get them to say, wow, this is really good information. I want more. And if they don't see the page as that, then they leave. Something that was brought to my attention about a week ago. This is very, very bad, and everybody needs to remember this. If somebody finds your link in the search engine some way, and they come to the page and they start reading and they go, this is not what I was looking for at all, you leave. And you've done the same thing, I'm sure. You've clicked on something, you go, that's not what I want, and you leave. And you go and you search for another site that has that you're supposed to have the information that you want. Google sees that. Google sees that you went to a site, and in under 10 seconds you left, and you searched in those searches, that your search results, you clicked on a different one and went to that site. The first one you clicked on now gets a ding from Google going, oh, that page was no good because that person came back and they did a search again for the same thing. So if you don't write good pages, like I said, that's going to hurt you. If you made that page, whatever you did offsite SEO, and that page got a really good position, or at least a decent one, it's not going to be there for long before Google goes, it was written crummy, so people are just bouncing off that page. So yeah, it's going back further in the search engines. And I hope that in this much time that I've got your attention to think, you really have to think about what you're putting together. It doesn't come together fast. You can't just write a page and say, there it is, because I know my business and I know that I've written it well. Don't do that. If you know somebody who's in 8th grade, have them read it. And you might think that that's silly, but if they can read it and they're engrossed in that page, you've done your job. The average age or the average grade of people, and I'm talking even about rocket scientists who are on the internet, we all dumb down to about an 8th grade level, which means, come on, hurry up, give me that information, I'm ready to go. You're going through this drive-through, you want it right now, hurry up, you're on the horn getting that guy to move out of the way because you want to hurry up and get through this drive-through. That's the way everybody uses the internet. So if they come to your page and they don't get what they want, they leave right away. Don't even wait 10 seconds. Google takes that as a main hit to you, because if you're under 10 seconds, they think the page is garbage. Now they went and they clicked on another link to find the same thing. Google says double garbage. So whatever position you have, you just lost it. So slow down. What is the page about? What's it going to be about? Now, if you've got pages already written, then you have to go back and look at each one and decide, and you've got to be honest. Is this page informational? Is this page more specific to the product? Or is this a buy now page? And if you're not doing all three of those to each page of your site, you're going to be in trouble. So if you have a 3-page website, I can already tell you, and let's say you got a 3-page website and you have 2 different products or services. I already know you failed. Because your website, your home page is 1, so we'll take that out. And you had 2 other pages. Wait, they're supposed to have 3 pages per product and or service. You got 2 pages total. So whatever you're missing, you combined all the stuff on those 2 pages. So you've got to go back and reread those things and start stripping it apart. If it's a flat-lined site, which means you've got next to no traffic coming to it, you're not going to lose anything because you have rewritten the page. Only worry about a page as far as editing it or restructuring or doing something that's going to definitely change everything on the page. Worry about it if there is traffic to that page. And I mean more than 3 people a month. If you're getting 3 people a month, yeah, it's still flatline. So you can get, tear apart the page and rewrite it. But if it has traffic, if it's doing okay, even if you're maybe on the 3rd page in Google, leave that page alone and start just touching it to get it into the better position. But if you don't have any pages that are in that kind of situation, you can feel free to scrap it. But you have to be sitting down, making that list, and make sure that all of your pages have those 3 stages of the buyer's journey. Hey, I just threw a tremendous amount of information at you. Questions? Who's got questions? I know you have to, because that's why you guys are here. You can either send it directly to me, or you can send it to the general chat. Traffic from Asia? Well, you know what? If I've got a product or service, I really don't care where somebody is in my business. It really depends on what you're selling. But as a web developer, if they speak English, then I'm okay. But if they don't, then I'd have to say, sorry, I can't help you. So if your traffic is from someplace that is not where you would normally do business, then yeah, you can think of that as, yeah, that's no traffic. How you express it can be, and as often is, as important as what you want to convey. Yes, what you have to say is very important to you and the bottom line. Yes. The biggest problem that I found that every business has is they feel that they know their product or service so well that whatever they've written is written really well. Stop that. You have to actually go the other direction. Because you know your business so well, think of the pages that you wrote are not what somebody's looking for. And I say that because we know our businesses, so we do too much assuming. You cannot assume that somebody has come to this page and they understand what you wrote. If you got technical stuff, don't do that. I mean, if you're a mathematician, yeah, and your stuff is all about math, that's a different situation. Generally, you need to write for an 8th grader. If you write for a college graduate, the chances are Google's going to push you back because people on the internet don't read at that level. It doesn't mean that they're stupid. It just means everybody is in too big a hurry to stop and go, okay, let's see. I'm going to take the next 40 minutes and read this one page. When's the last time that anybody did that on the internet? Yeah, crickets again. You guys don't do that. Don't expect anybody else to. So when you've got pages, you have to write them. And that's why I said, go get an 8th grader and let them read the page. If they read the first sentence and they walk away to go get a pop or something, well, you know you got a problem. And yeah, we scan headings, we scan pages. And if there is bits of information as you're scanning down this page that grab your attention, you go back and go, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I want to read that. Oh, and then it gets you deeper. If you can engage a person in your page, then you've written it correctly. As long as you make sure that it's only one stage of the buyer journey. So those are two main things to start with. What's the buyer's stage that you're writing for? And is it engaging enough? You've got to keep it. Let me say this differently. Your intention for any page of your site that you want to get into the search engines means that you need people to spend at least a minute on the page, and that's the bare minimum. If you can get them to spend 2 minutes on the page, you can pat yourself on the back. You did a good job. But that's your ultimate goal, getting people to engage in the reading. So if you have really good information, if you make it hard to read, they leave, make it easy to read, they stay. And it needs to be easy to read, very information. Let's see, there's something else in chat. Going to be a write-up about this or someplace we can return for a reminder of what we discussed? Well, I can tell you. All of my meetings are recorded, so I do you one better. And you can go to YouTube. You'll find it at youtube.com/@SEO-Tom. And I'll put that in the chat. So if you missed anything, just go there and watch the videos. And I would suggest that you do that, especially because last month it was all about how sales and SEO are related. And they are. It didn't have to be years ago. Today, they are very much needed together. Because just like I said about the sales journey, about the buyer's journey, that's all sales. If you don't know what the journey is, just separated information, almost ready to buy. So we're not quite ready for a pitch, but we're thinking about it. They're trying to decide between this one or that one. In the first page, they're just getting information. What is it that I need? And then, of course, the last one is I'm ready to buy. So if you're saying, oh, if you're ready to buy and, I'll get to you. Well, you just lost that sale. Now, a lot of people are not good with sales. I'm one of the first people to admit it, and so is Arthur if he was on mic. He'd say, I can't stand sales. I hate sales. Our business mandates that we are good at sales. Well, the only time that that's true is somebody gets me talking about what I do. I just start talking about it. I'm not selling at all. I don't think about selling. I just start talking about it and being very informational. That's exactly what you want your pages to do. If you get into 2,000 words on the page, so what? Just make sure that you break it up with headings so that you only have a couple of paragraphs. So it's easy to read, lots of space, white space. maybe 2 paragraphs or so, 2 or 3 paragraphs in each paragraph, and then make a long page if you can go along. If you really have good information to write that much, then go ahead. Do I audit websites? Sure. Need a pair of eyes to see where I got it right and where I need improvement regarding 3 stages of buyer journey. Yep, that is definitely something that I can do. And Arthur's still here. It looks like he's probably still on a call. But Arthur is here too. So yes, get in touch. I'm all over Alignable. You can't miss me. Or you can even go to my website and contact me through there, however you want. It's pretty difficult not to find me. And when you do have different journey or different stages, if you think that you got the 3 stages, that's great. But I would highly recommend that you go back and seriously read each one of your own pages. That is the beginning of SEO. Without good quality content in your page, and I don't mean pictures. When we talk about content in the website and SEO industries, we're talking about the text on the page. So when your content is written well, people will stay and read that stuff. If it's terrible, your website is flatlined and people bounce. So look at your Google Analytics. If anybody here has not paid attention to their Google Analytics, you need to smack yourself on the hand and say, go look at it. You don't have to have everything. You just want the basics. You want to know how many people come and how long they stay on the pages. Now you can get that if you just go into Analytics and go to the home, which is the first thing that comes up. And TA Garrison, yes, is a good contact. You can also find me in the group. Anywhere in the group that you see my picture, you'll see a connect. Click on the connect button and I'm right there. And yes, everybody is searching for answers to their problems. When you are writing your pages, think about what problem are you solving with that specific service or product. Now you have your 3 stages. So you connect those 3 stages. In those 3 stages, what problem or problems plural are you solving? If you're not into doing that, if you just want to get some basic information out, continue to be happy with a flatline website. It's not going to be any other way. There's no 2 ways. It's either you write it so people like it or it's flatlined. So think about what problems, what issues people have. You all know your businesses. So think about what problem you're solving. If you're selling shoes, what problem could you solve? How would you like to make your feet comfortable when you're walking 5 or 6 or 8 miles, instead of you walk 3 feet and the things are rubbing against your heel and giving you blisters? If you went to a shoe site and you saw that kind of information, would that get you to read a little bit more? You're thinking, everybody's thinking, yes, of course it would. It's like, yeah, I bought a pair of new shoes and the bloody things it did. Literally, I have a pair of shoes that I bought brand new and I've worn them once. Tennis shoes. And they rubbed me on my heel, gave me a blister. They're gone. That's what you get for buying them on the internet. So if you're selling a product that is something people wear on their feet or clothing, you're selling that kind of thing, you've got to be even more specific. You cannot be general, because everybody has their eccentricities, if you will. I happen to like my shoes that fit on my feet and don't give me blisters. That's not asking that much. So that would be a problem that you could write about in your content. And you can say, here's how we solve that problem. Here's how, because we get blah, 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 you know, whether it's gathering specific information before you sell it to them or whatever it is. What problem are you solving? And do that with every one of your products or services. If you just say, and this stuff helps you. Oh, okay. I guess I'll buy that then. Don't throw their shoes away. Well, they're in the closet. What am I supposed to do with them? Or wear a Band-Aid? I'm not gonna. All right, smart guy. All right, so buyer's journey is a huge part. So yes, sales and SEO are related. We went over that last month. We went over the buyer's journey last month. And so all the stuff that's from last month that's in YouTube will catch you up to speed to where we are now, because now you are picking a specific product or service in your site. And again, do not consider the home page. And yeah, Michael, that is true. And that's something we talked about recently. If you, I'll ask it a different way. Why would you buy a drill? Anybody want to answer? Just off the wall. There's no great answer that I'm looking for, but why would you buy a drill? Yeah, that's just what I want to do. Windows is reboot right now. Go away. Anybody want to answer that? Why would you buy a drill?
So you would buy a drill to drill a hole or to use it as a screw gun. There's many things it can be used for.
Yep.
But it's a tool.
And of course, there's a difference between the drill and the drill motor. So if I'm going to buy, it's actually a drill bit. So Michael, are you buying a drill bit or are you buying a drill? You buy one for one thing and one for another. But yes, you usually take a drill bit, you buy a drill bit to make a hole. So you need to understand why somebody wants the product or service that you have. Just because they came to your site doesn't mean they want your product or service. You have to tell them why. What is it what's the problem you solve? How do you solve it? Why should I buy yours? Well, tell me more about your product. You've got to answer their questions. Get the information first. You can have links on that page. You can have a call to action on that page. But it's still the information page. And the call to action will take them to the next phase of their journey. Don't just try to jump them right over. Okay, now go buy this thing. Wait a minute. I haven't even figured out if I like this thing yet. I don't know if it's the right drill bit for me. Well, okay, so go to this next page and I'll show you why this drill bit is better than the others. So I gave you all the information about a drill bit on one page. Now I'm going to be specific. Well, if you're looking for a composite drill bit or a solid steel drill bit, or, what type of drill bit are they looking for? So in drill bits information, you can name, well, they have a solid steel, a stainless steel, we have a composite, got all these different types of drill bits. That's on the information page, and you're giving them the information on each one of those things. Not selling them, but you can have a buy now right after you finish the instructions or the information about that one type of bit, and you can go to learn more to the next page. And that will say, oh, okay, so now I'm getting more specific information. That's the second stage of their journey. So really hone in on the problem you're solving and what sorts of things that they could do for that problem that you have. And you're just giving them information. I would, if I were you, think about that drill bit or think of something else, even the shoes. Well, I don't know. How do I know if I buy your shoes on the internet that they're not going to rub my feet raw? You can't just not talk about that. It's something that happens. Even if the person who's reading that has never had that happen, you're bringing that up to them as something that can happen if they don't buy the right shoe. How do I know to buy the right shoe? How do I know what shoe to buy? That's why they're looking for that information. That's why you stick with that first stage of the journey. Well, how do I know? And in my case, because I did buy a pair of shoes on the net, it's like the only one that I could find because nobody sells 12s anymore. They want to sell up to an 8 or a 9, and I can't fit in that thing. Anyway, the problem is that there wasn't a way to find out, do these things need to be broken in? Well, that's something that would have been nice to know. Oh yeah, they need to be broken in, and here's how you do it. Well, how come nobody told me that? So now I'll never buy from that person again, from that particular vendor. And you don't want that. So if they're looking for a drill bit, they're looking for a specific kind of drill bit. Tell them what's good about it, what's bad about it, pros and cons before they get to the next stage, and don't try to sell them on a bit that you know is not what they need for their site, for their issue. I wish the smart aleck had told me to done something more than put a Band-Aid on. I'll talk to that person after the meeting. I know that person. So you're buying a hole, you're buying a drill to make a hole. So is that going to solve the problem that you have? Is that all you need to do, is drill the hole? Dig deeper into all the information about it. The more you stay on top, the more generic that you stay with your information, the less value that your information has to the person reading it. So tell me all the pros and cons, like I was saying. Now, that all said, questions and hands, because I've got a question. How many people can honestly say that they have written at least one page perfectly? Not me. This is, and yet, well, for me, it's difficult because I go back to square one. For me, is back in 2000. If you had even general information about products and services, you didn't have to worry about the buyer's journey. You could make a really good page, or get a page up to a really good position in the search engines, even Google. You cannot do that anymore. And as a matter of fact, if you think that targeting specific keywords is the answer to everything, and anybody who knows me knows if I slow down like that, you got something coming. Yeah. Google really is trying to push away from keyword terms. Not that they are not relevant, but you're not going to get all the points just because the page has keywords in it that match what the person is searching. Google is actually hell-bent on how good is that content on the page. If it is conversational text, it solves problems, and it engages readers, that's the beginnings of a good page. So that's all information that you need to have in that page in order to be able to try to get to the top of Google. but the keyword terms are not going to do it on their own. Yes, you can target the keyword terms, but I'm going to tell you, and I know I've said this many times in the groups, anybody who's new, please do not try to target national terms. If your site is flatlining, that's like trying to go from you're a month old to 50 years old in a day. It's not going to happen. It can't. So go back and do the steps, do the process, go through the painstaking efforts. That's the only way it works. The other thing that I will say, if you decide, you know what, this is a pain in the rear, or it's going to be too expensive to hire somebody to do my SEO. So you decide, okay, I'm going to go and get a marketing company. Well, are you going to research this marketing company? Or are you just going to believe the first one who comes along and say, well, they said that they can do this. So that's another problem that you have to solve yourself. Because the marketing firm isn't going to tell you, oh, no, there's nobody better than us. And, oh, of course, we do it right. Yeah. Get the information from them. The point is, you've got to make sure that doing it yourself, it is expensive. So you've got to make sure that you're doing it right. Don't try to jump to the head of the class. It isn't going to work. It's do this step, then the next step. And I even gave you a bit more than would be absolutely minimum. But you know the 3 stages. What you call them, it doesn't make any difference. Just don't mix them up. So you can call it just getting information, more specific information, ready to buy. If that's easier for you, it doesn't make any difference. However you want to write it down. But you've got to stick with a page that is about 1 stage. Don't combine them. It's going to confuse people. And go back and reread and think to yourself, and have, if you've got kids, ask them. They're the least interested in your business. So if they listen, if they read your stuff on your pages, you know you wrote it well. You can get more than 10 seconds out of one of your kids reading your stuff. Okay, that must be a pretty good page. Because you had to hold, you had to reef their arm back behind their back in order to get them to read the first word. So if they sat there long enough without you touching them and actually read something, that's pretty good. On the other hand, if they sit down and they go, or start making jokes about it, already you know that it was not what you needed to have. But even if you decide, okay, I'm going to have a friend. And one thing that I said a long time ago, if you want to record yourself talking about a page, that's a good way to do it, because then you can transcribe what you recorded. And sometimes it's good to just sit and talk to someone about that page that you're writing the content for. Just think about it as, I'm going to talk to this person. Don't think about selling it to them. Don't think about, well, I got to say it just right. No. You're having a conversation. Bing! That should be an idea. A light bulb that just went on over your head. Conversational text is what Google's looking for. Conversational text. Just like you're talking to your buddies at the bar or whatever. Your friends, if they came over for dinner. Whatever it is. Conversational text. So if you record a conversation that you have with your friends, relative, whatever, somebody, record that conversation and listen to it. And if it is, yeah, that just sounds like 2 people talking. Great. Now transcribe that sucker and see how it works, and see if they've got the keywords in there. As you're having a conversation, you're not going to think about, well, I got to make sure to add these keywords and I got to put them at the front of the sentence. You're not. You're just talking to them. Just talk. Then after you've done the talking, because that person has gone, you know what? You just described your business better than I've ever heard you say it. I'm actually interested more in it. You've probably known it for 20 years, and now all of a sudden they go, wow, I didn't realize that you knew that much about that thing. So do that. Yeah, it's the same thing like in blog. Each page should be about one topic. Services page will list your services, and each service should have its own page. That's right. So if you're, let's say that you're selling shoes, so that means that you've got tennis shoes. Maybe you have hard-soled shoes. Let's just say that all I sell are tennis shoes. Great. So you think you're going to have a homepage that says, I sell tennis shoes, buy them. No. And then have WooCommerce that's just full of all the different shoes. That's not how this game works. And if you expect that to happen, it's not. What do you sell? Well, I shall sell tennis shoes. Why do you sell tennis shoes? I don't know. Just is the business. Well, you can stop yourself right there. If that stopped you from being able to tell me, stop and think, why did you get into this business? Whatever business you're in, you're passionate about that business. Put that passion into the conversational text that you write, even if it's just informational. Every page should have that passion, because if it does, you've gone to a page and you have read something that you're going, good Lord, this person really is passionate about whatever the subject is. So you'll feel it, you'll read it. That's how you want to write your pages. I sell shoes to fix the blisters on your feet. There's another thing too, just thinking about that. You can begin with a heading on a page that is, and this came from about a year ago. We had somebody in our group who didn't have a clue what he was doing. And he is a animal trainer, specifically dog trainer. And he built this little 3-page thing in milkshake. And if anybody thinks I'm talking about what tastes good, that's not what it is. Look up milkshake in Google, and it's free. You can have a website in there, take advantage of it. But the point is, he put this thing in there with a picture of somebody standing with a police dog, and it said, learn the dirty little secrets that dog trainers don't tell you. We all looked at that in the meeting and went, whoa, I'd look at that in a heartbeat. Okay, so tell me, if you're trying to train a dog, do you think that you would watch that? Do you think that you would go to this person, or you would want to read more information from that person? Yeah. So if you can do something like that, if you can write something like that to say, dirty little secrets that the priest doesn't tell you. Whoa, if you got some kind of religious site, people are going to read that. Tired of shoes that give you blisters? It's a little weak, but you could work with that. But you get where I'm going. It's the idea of whatever text that you're writing is to get people to like what you've written immediately. One of the best ways to do that is to just kind of, dirty little secrets that blah, 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 blah. Maybe if you're a pool cleaner, you can say, how many times have you fallen in trying to clean the pool? Okay, now you got my attention. That's the whole point. So now you start writing the text about, well, we don't want you to fall into the pool. That's just going to be counterproductive to cleaning it, and you're just going to make it dirtier or whatever. The point is, now you can roll with that. Get their attention. Do something that is funny. Say something that's funny. Come up with some way to get their attention right away, and do it on every page. Now, you might thought, well, we didn't get anywhere. Oh, yes, we did, because you flatlined the site and you know that you have homework to do And you have to start and do this slowly. Questions, anybody? We're at the top of the hour. This is the quietest group I have ever had. Even my co-host is only on chat. Would that be the first category and the extended info, the second page? Let's make this really clear. Whatever pages you have, you're trying to get that page into the search engines. But for each product and service, you have those 3 pages. You have menu items that get people to those. Each one of those pages that you wrote is considered now a landing page. So on what page did that person land? Well, that depends on the keywords that were used and where it was found in the search engine. So if that person clicked on what they thought was the information that they wanted and come to your page and they got the information that they were hoping for, you succeeded. So it doesn't make any difference. When you're trying to get their attention, you're doing it to every page. I think that might be the question that somebody was asking. You're getting their attention on each one of them. So you want to make sure that you're linking from each of the pages to the others. God forbid that somebody got to your buy now page and they were looking for information and you said, yeah, go back to the information page. So you did something wrong that buy now page came up first in the search engines and the person was only looking for information. So that's all on how you put the pages together. Intend for a page to be whatever you've decided, whichever of the 3 categories that it fits. Link appropriately. In your menu, all the pages need to be there. Three-step category was what I meant. When you are in a page, when you're writing a page, each of them is going to be for a specific category. And extended info would be, instead of extended, it's more specific. So if I was looking for a drill bit, I have all that information on the different types of drill bits. Now, in that page, there are links to more information because here's my stainless steel, here's my composite bits, and then here's some others. At the end of each one of those of those sections, that's where your link to read more goes, because I'm on the stainless steel and I've read all the information about why would I want a stainless steel. Great, now I'm going to more information. There's 2 different kinds of stainless steels that you sell. Okay, so you got this one or that one. And that looks like good. I really like that manufacturer that you're selling. So now that person's ready to buy, but there has to be information about that specific product. And then a buy now, which takes them to buy now, and it still has more information about that product. Okay, so that made sense. Glad I got that across. Whew. Any other questions? And remember, folks, this will be in YouTube. So if you missed anything or if you want to go over it again, go to YouTube. It doesn't cost you anything. I don't have that. Subscribe now. I don't have that in any of my videos. I don't do that. You subscribe if you want to. Everybody knows how it works in YouTube. And I'm not going to sit there and try to tell people, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, shut up. So you'll have all that stuff there. And these videos go back almost 2 years now. I have some that are even older, but they're in my site. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Michael. That's it for today. We'll see you next week.